everybody, crafting journey here. Just another manic Monday. Had a nice weekend. Oh my goodness, the dogs are giving me a fit today. Everybody's out walking the dogs. Stitch is, what is Stitch doing? Scratching his butt. He thinks he's a dog. All right, I got a good one for you today. Stay tuned. Crafting journey here, that journey chick over on Instagram. I need to post more on Instagram, don't I? I was telling the like button that very same thing this morning. Please don't forget to hit the like button on your way in or out of the show today. I know people don't watch the whole thing, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. If you are already a subscriber, please consider becoming a member. And if you enjoy the content, down below, you can make a super thanks. Just like a super chat, there's a thanks button, and you can make a one-time donation that goes to support the content of the channel. Also, most importantly, don't forget the notification bell. Hit all so you don't miss a single episode of Crafting and Crime Daily, because I don't post at a regular time. It comes up probably noonish every day, depending on your location. So, I got the watercolors out. I also had, if you watch yesterday's show, and I'll put a link to it here, I learned to knit, kind of, sort of. It was a painful process. I had my friend Robert on, and he assisted me, and then I had to get my good friend Mickey involved, because Mickey is a very good knitter. She doesn't do knitting anymore, but she was really good at it once upon a time. So I went and got, I went to Joann's over the weekend. There's also a video on that. I can put a link to that as well, a link. All you have to do if you want to watch these links is just click on them, put them on your watch later list, and you'll still be in the video here. Okay, so I got this knitting needles with the cord, and as you can see, I finally figured it out. But here's my question. I'm going to take a picture so I can show you. I think I've made a mistake in the first row, and I'm wondering if I should start over. Let me know your thoughts before I go any further with this. But God bless Narrate. After the live was over, she had sent me a video during the live that was fiber flux, and it was this gorgeous scarf. So I'm going to make this a scarf out of this yarn. It wasn't the yarn that they used. This is Premier Moment. There's 437 yards, so plenty of yardage for a scarf. 58% cotton, 22% acrylic. It's a 4-weight. And look at the beautiful colors in that. The colorway is gorgeous. So anyway, I decided I'm going to make this scarf. But it's nice because you look and you're saying, oh no, I'm not ready for a scarf. I can't even get these things on the needle. Well, they go through step by step how to cast on using this finger technique. That was so cool that I'm like, oh, I got this. I got this. I can't show you because I'm past that. But I'm ready to, I just did some knitting rows, and I need to do more knitting rows, but I just want to know about that mistake. I'm okay with starting over if I have to. I've started over like 6 times. So if you think I should start over, let me know. Like, also, if you make a mistake knitting, what happens? You just, I don't know how to frog it. Is frogging possible with knitting? I know with loom knitting, it is not possible. If you make a mistake, you have made a mistake. And if you're early in the project, you just start over. So last night I was also watercoloring on my new, I went shopping over the weekend. I bought these at Joann's. This paper is just awful. Let me tell you. It does not absorb the water at all. But nonetheless, it's good for practicing. Like I said, oh yeah, you don't want to see that. I'm trying to do Aurora Borealis, and that just is not it. No, not at all. I thought I did, oh here, I did couple of things. I'm just playing around. Like I said, I bought these new dagger brushes. So I was just playing around with that. Here's the one I'm most proud of. Oh my word. I will show you the original photo that goes with this. Now the leaves are kind of wonky because they're underneath the flower, and I probably should have started it this way. But anyway, this is the way the flower goes. And it's a picture I took at work. Yeah. So there it is. Anyway, I'm just playing around. But you can see how like the watercolor is not, like the water just sits on the paper and doesn't disperse like it's supposed to. It's kind of weird, but it's good for practicing, like I say. Alrighty, what should we paint today while I'm chit-chatting with you? It is National Merry-Go-Round Day. Is there a song for that? There is. I'll find it. But not one that I know by heart and that I can sing. Let me show you my these new dagger brushes. Oh, they're so cool. I think there's 4 of them. And they have this beautiful, soft, cushiony handle, which, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I thought there was another one. I'm sure there is. It's hiding here somewhere. So here's 3 of them. And they're just different. Yeah, like one's very large. I think there's one that might even be, well, if it was larger, I probably would be able to find it, right? Must be smaller. So 4 different sizes of these dagger brushes, which very cool. So I was just playing around with, which one's this one? This is an 8. I don't know much about the sizing of watercolor, so I really think this paper is more for like a wet on wet. In fact, why don't we do that? We're gonna just get the paper a little bit moist so we can do some watercolor, you know, prime the paper here. Because it just, the water just sits on it. It's very strange. Even if you saw it here, you would be like, what is going on? Yep. So we're going to do wet on wet, which means you get the wet paper wet first. So it's National Merry-Go-Round Day. Do you know that there are no 2 alike? It started out in 1870, but it goes, I think it goes way, it came to the U.S. in 1870. And I don't know if it was New York or not. Oh no, it wasn't New York. It was Ohio. It was Ohio. So yeah, it came to Ohio in 1870. No 2 are alike. Most of what's on a merry-go-round is hand painted. It's gorgeous. There's horses and benches, and some of the horses are named. I have some film of me riding a merry-go-round over Christmas time this past year. We went to the Botanical Gardens Christmas light show, and they had this, it was freezing cold, but you could go inside this pavilion, and they had this huge merry-go-round. And if I can find the footage, I'll put me riding a merry-go-round. I'm just, yeah, I'm a kid at heart, aren't I? Oh my word. Rebecca, what are you doing on the merry-go-round? What color have I not used in a while? Yellow. Why don't I use yellow more often? I don't know. I'm not sure why I don't. And you know I get quiet when I'm watercolor painting. You see how that just kind of, well, you don't see it, but it's just kind of, even with the wet on wet, it's just kind of sitting there on top of the paper. So look at me becoming a watercolor snob. Oh my word. Okay. Oh, this bright yellow is so pretty. Oh gosh. I think we'll put some orange in it. Yeah. What I do is I like to mix inside the palette. I'll grab one color and then another color on the same brush. So I've actually put some yellow and some orange here. No idea what kind of flower this is. Just playing around, yeah. So I don't know what time it is where you're watching the show here, but welcome. I'm glad you could make it. Please enjoy this next part, the crime part. Oh, yeah, I wish it was easier to bring to you. This is the Parkland Shooter. For those of you not familiar, this is a kid who took his AR-15. His adopted mother had passed away. He was living with another set of parents, a friend of his at school. Their parents took him in. To say that this doesn't end well is an understatement. He had been planning a mass shooting. So he goes to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, and he also works at the dollar store. So I don't know how he got the AR-15, but he's got his AR-15. He's got rounds and rounds of ammunition, these magazines that hold 30, 40, bullets, and he's got a jacket that holds all the magazines. He's ready to go, and he's got it all in a pack, and he takes an Uber. It's Valentine's Day 2018. He takes an Uber to the school. It's about 2 in the afternoon, 4th period. The day is almost over. He goes to the 1200 building, which is the freshman building. Now, there are kids that are older than that in the building because there's some advanced classes going on in there. Advanced psychology, they call it AP, advanced placement psychology. There's a special elective on the Holocaust going on, and there's some different stuff going on this in this 1200 building. It's 3 stories, 2 entrances, east and west. You have to go up to the stairwell to get to the first story. The bottom floor is the stairwells, bathrooms, those kind of things. So he enters and he's getting ready to start shooting. He's getting all his stuff ready. He's putting on his jacket, and this one child passes him by, a teenager who's already testified and said, "That's the guy, look at my past episodes and you'll see him." And he says to the guy, Nicholas says to the guy, "You better leave because it's about to get bad." So this kid, he's like, "Yep, I'm out of here." He leaves, goes to get help, and comes back. Does not get injured, thank God. But so he goes to get help. Meanwhile, Nicholas goes from floor to floor, shooting into each classroom had a door with a glass window. So he shoots out the glass of all these different classrooms, shoots into the classroom. And when all is said and done, shooting down the hallways, just shooting in the stairwells, hundreds of rounds of ammunition. At the end, 14 students lost their lives, 39 people were injured, 3 teachers were killed. So that's where we're at. Now, he has already pled guilty to this crime. So you're asking, why are we here? That's the big question, yes. Because in Florida, where this occurred, down near Miami, but more in the Fort Lauderdale area, this is Broward County, which it's Dade County is where Miami, and then it's Broward, and then Palm Beach. So this is in Broward County. So in Florida, you are not allowed to impose the death penalty unless it's heard. The case has to be heard by a jury, and then the jury decides whether there are enough aggravating factors, and there's 7 different aggravating factors, and I'll go through them before on another episode, but outweigh the mitigating factors. Like, is there anything good about this guy? He's already pled guilty. Now, in most states, he would have just been sentenced. But in Florida, because he's facing the death penalty, and the judge is not allowed to impose that, we get a trial. So yesterday, Friday, we get a medical examiner. I'm one of several, I'm assuming. Now, I didn't watch the entire day because it's very difficult to watch this, to say the least. And after watching descriptions, he described 4 autopsies that he did of these children. And then they take long breaks. Like, they'll go for 5 minutes and they'll be gone for 20, and then they come back, and then they have to do these sidebars on Bluetooth that you can't hear, and there's a lot of downtime in this thing. So I'm sure I missed some testimony, and I'll go back and try to figure that out today. I'm not done with the painting. I'm just trying to let it dry a little bit because I want to add some stuff in the center. So I don't want to go into a lot of detail about these autopsies because, so obviously we did not see the pictures. Now, I feel so bad for the jury. They have seen all of these shooting videos, all of these autopsy photos. I noticed in another trial that we watched, the judge offered the jury a trauma package, which tells them how to get help, because seeing all this can be very traumatic. And I hope that they do the same thing in this case, because I can't believe that it's not going to have an effect on these people, having seen and heard all this over days and weeks and what's probably going to be months. Yeah, especially this autopsy stuff. So the first autopsy was of Martin Duque Aquilano. So he was 14 years old. Bless his heart. And what the medical examiner explained is that Nicholas is using a high velocity weapon. And when these bullets come out, they are traveling at such a speed that the bullet is tumbling. And when it hits something, it's tumbling and it bursts. And first it tumbles within the body, doing crazy amounts of damage. And then it bursts, spreading parts of the bullet into other parts of the body. So it causes a tremendous amount of damage. Just one gunshot. Each of these 4 kids were shot multiple times. And all of the causes of death were multiple gunshot wounds, of course. And the manner of death was homicide. I'm counting the number of times Martin was shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. 8 times. In the fatal one was in the right cheek, and kind of a downward angle, went through the neck and the upper chest. I'm not going to describe the rest, but a lot of them were defensive wounds, like he had his arms up, so that he had a lot of wounds to his arms. Yeah. And they were all done prior to his death. So the next person is Elena Petty, another student. I didn't catch her age. She was also shot multiple times, at least 5 times. The fatal wound went through her left, other side, left breast, and of course went into, at the high velocity, so it caused damage to her lungs, her heart, everything, and so she did not survive. We have Carmen. I didn't catch Carmen's last name. She had 5 wounds. She's a 16-year-old. Her fatal wound was a head wound, shot in the head, but she had many other wounds. And then the final one that I heard was Meadow Pollock. She had 7 wounds. She was an 18-year-old. She was shot at least 7 times. And again, the fatal wound was to her left side, went in and destroyed, you know, the lungs, the ribs, you know, multiple rib fractures, yeah, everything in there. So none of these were survivable. So bless their hearts. I don't know if we're going to hear all the rest of these. That's only 4 out of 17. Yeah, that the jury has to listen to. By now, I'd be like, okay, I've heard enough. There can't be anything mitigating that you're going to tell me at this point that's going to outweigh what I've already heard. So you can stop. Can we stop now? You know, wave the white flag. Meanwhile, Nicholas, he sits at the table. He doesn't want to hear any of it. You saw the picture I took of him putting his thumbs in his ears. He's doodling on some Post-it notes. You know, he's just moved past it, I think. I mean, he's accepted responsibility for what he's done. He knows he's never going to get out of prison. Now the question is he going to face the death penalty? And truthfully, I don't think he cares. He acts like he just doesn't care. Yeah. Like he just wants to get it over with. You know, what's for lunch? If they don't get rid of the guns in this country, the AR, just get rid of the AR, the assault rifles, please. No more assault rifles. Let me say it again. No more assault rifles, guys. Okay. So, now I'm ready to do the center here. Did you guys have a good weekend? I really did. You saw that I went shopping at Joann's. Yeah, it was fun. You're having a clearance sale. I just want to get all the water out of here. Okay. They're having a clearance sale. I didn't find a lot of stuff that I wanted because Joann's is very, very expensive. Don't ever pay full price at a Joann's. Oh my word. Yeah, the markup there is probably, I'm going to say 400%. It's ridiculous. You know, one of the things I did look for that, you know, I thought, well, let me see if it's on sale, is those Doris Ward storage containers. It's not Doris Ward anymore. Doris Ward, that went out of business, but there's another company now that makes them, and they're still 40 bucks. They're still, it's the same thing. They're 40 bucks. They probably got the Chinese version now. And, yeah. So here is this flower. Yeah. It's bright, sunny for a sunny Monday morning. Yes, it is. Oh, by the way, some of you might remember the case that I covered, I don't know, the beginning of July? Yeah, it was the beginning of July. It was a case of Rebecca Rudd, and she had opted not to have a jury trial. She wanted to have the judge decide the case. So the judge heard the case. This was the woman who had given up her biological daughter, and then the adoptive parents just dumped the girl back when she became a teenager. She just gave her back to the biological mother and said, here, they were having trouble with her. Here, you can have her. I mean, I'm oversimplifying what was a very complicated situation, but she ends up back with the biological mother on this 83-acre property in the middle of Missouri. And we're not sure what happened, but in any case, the child ends up being found in a burn pile. And the mother admits to burning the child's body, but it was after she found that the child had committed suicide. So she took the child and burned her body. What? Yeah. So I'm sure I know what the ruling will be, but I would just, the judge had said, well, I'll have a ruling by July 15th. It's the end of July. We still haven't heard anything. So I didn't want you guys to think I wasn't looking out for that verdict, because I am, and I don't know what happened there. But let's see what happened this day in history. 1978, the year I graduated, was the first in vitro fertilization. I can't even say it. The first in vitro fertilization baby. The first IVF baby. They called it the test tube baby. For what now is like a routine medical procedure. An expensive routine medical procedure, but a routine medical procedure. But back in 1978, this was the test tube baby, and they didn't know, what is this baby going to be normal? What they did was, well, you know what IVF is. You know, they go in to the mother, they take an embryo, they put it into a petri dish, and they, dad has to go ejaculate into a cup. I said the word ejaculate on my channel. Oh my God. That's a first. Anyway, if you fell off your chair, pick yourself back up. So ejaculate into a cup. They take the sperm and they mix it with the embryo, and it makes a baby. And if your children are watching, that's how babies are made, but not in a petri dish. So we are walking petri dishes. So I'm in a mood this morning. I'm probably late for work. No, not yet. Okay. So, and then they, once, they implant a few into the mother to see if any of them will take. Sometimes more than one takes, and they end up having twins and triplets and what have you. But in 1978, the first one was born, and it was a girl. That girl has already had her own child. Yes, perfectly natural. She had it the natural way. No problems. They thought, oh, there's going to be issues. No issues. Normal baby. She had a normal baby. Yeah. Everything was fine. Her name was Louise Joy Brown. Now, tomorrow, on this day in history, you are not going to want to miss what happened here 37 years ago? To me. Yeah. Naturally. Not in a petri dish. Yes, tomorrow's my daughter's birthday. Which I have her card. I know it's going to be late. I have her card and everything in my purse. I just have to sit down, put some stamps on it, and get it in the mail. Okay, guys. That is the show for today. I made you a flower. Yes. Okay. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow on Crafting and Crime. Hopefully I'll have something interesting for you tomorrow. So something new and fresh. Yeah. I'm tired of hearing about dead bodies. Well, mass shootings anyway. We need to get away from mass shootings, right? They just need to stop happening. That's what it is. Okay, I got to get off my soap dish. My soapbox. Is that soap dish? I meant soapbox. All right, bye everybody. Take care.